A little while ago, we got news on the release date of JoJo's Part 9, a new part to JoJo's, and it is called JoJo Lands. And so what I wanted to do was go back and re-experience JoJo's as a whole, because not only has it already been a year since I last read JoJo Part 8, JoJo Leon, but I still haven't read the manga for parts 1 through, I think 5, yeah, parts 1 through 5. I've seen the anime up to that point, but yeah, I've never read the manga, and so that's what I wanted to do since JoJo Lands is gonna be coming out. I just wanted to re-experience JoJo's while also kind of reviewing every part as I go along. Hopefully I'm actually able to finish this up before part 9 releases, so yeah, that's my plan. And to start this whole thing off, let's talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood, the first part of JoJo's. Now, the first thing I noticed when I started reading this part was the art. As someone who doesn't really like older manga, it was a little bit harder to get through. There's just something about it. And although I'm kind of being negative about the art and stuff, and mainly about it being old, I don't really, I don't hate part 1 because of that. I just am not a big fan of older manga. So I already had a little bit of bias going into this. The story of part 1. The main character of this part is Jonathan Joestar. And from what we see with him throughout the story, kindness is in his nature. It probably just runs in his family too. Especially when you take a look at the beginning of this part, we see that Jonathan's dad takes in Dio to, kind of help him out and I guess raise him. And so already you can really see that the Joestar family is very kind, and really they're kind to a fault because, Dio, he takes full advantage of the Joestar family. Some of the first stuff you see with him is that he's very mean, especially to Jonathan. When he first arrives at the Joestar house, he literally kicks Jonathan's dog, Danny. So there's some bad blood between Jonathan and Dio. We come to learn that Dio really likes to be number 1. I think he even says it himself at some point in the story. And you see that he tries to compete with Dio in pretty much every aspect of life to, try and be better than him. While Jonathan, he tries to be all friendly with Dio and, tries to treat him respectfully. So you get these two characters, Jonathan Joestar, who is kind to a fault, and, he has a very bright and good nature with him and a strong set of values. And then you have Dio, who also has a strong set of values, but it is very different from Jonathan. He is selfish and arrogant. Honestly, he's just evil. And also, he's actually pretty smart. He comes up with a scheme to try and take out JoJo's dad to, get the inheritance from him as fast as possible. And that is the big turning point of part 1. Jonathan learns that Dio was slowly feeding his dad poison to, get the inheritance faster. And when Jonathan confronts Dio over that and brings the police, Dio puts on a mask that turns him into an immortal vampire. And that is where you see a little bit of the bizarre nature of JoJo's, or at least in this part of JoJo's. And not only that, but for me, it's where this part became a lot more interesting, and you start to see some interesting fights. As the story continues, you kind of learn of another power that some people could use in the story, which is the ripple. And I'm not gonna come here to, try and explain the whole power system in part 1, but I just thought it was funny that somehow you just gotta awaken something or somehow use your breath in a certain way to use the ripple. Once Baron Zeppeli teaches JoJo the ripple, you really start to see the creativity that Araki can have in his manga and in his fights. To me, that is one of the key strengths that he keeps throughout all of JoJo's. In all honesty, I wasn't really too impressed by the art for, this part of JoJo's, and especially with the fights, but the creativity that went into it. I remember one fight, Jonathan was fighting against a certain knight that got turned into a zombie. Somehow they ended up underwater, and the way the ripple works is that you have to use your breath to use the ripple, and so when he's underwater, he can't really breathe breathe or anything like that, and he actually finds a coal deposit, and he knows that if there's coal on the surface of a riverbed, then he can dive down and there will be air under that. And so when he lifts the coal up, there's a water bubble that floats up, and so he's able to breathe and use the ripple. Yeah, that's a pretty weird example, but I think that just shows how creative Araki already was at the beginning of JoJo's. Like I said, although I wasn't too interested or too impressed by the art, I could still appreciate the creativity of the fights. Overall, I found the story to be, you know, alright. It wasn't too impressive or anything like that, but I did enjoy some parts of it. I found some stuff in part 1 to be boring. And don't get me wrong, I like all the fights. I like Jonathan being this good guy who never breaks under anything. You know, that quality of his is something I think anyone can admire. The thing is though, is it feels kind of plain. Part 1 just feels kind of straight and narrow for me. The only thing that really made me enjoy it was the fights, which I guess is the main thing that you should be, you know, looking out for in JoJo's. There's just something about part 1 that, you know, just makes me not like it all that much, and the art probably has a lot to do with it, but yeah, not my favorite part in JoJo's. Anyways, that's really all I have to say with part 1. I'm not a huge fan of it, but you know what, that's okay. If you enjoy it, that's great. I definitely liked the anime a lot more than the manga, but yeah, I'm still interested to, you know, keep reading on and see JoJo's through the manga, and hopefully be able to get up to part 8 and make a video on that before, you know, part 9 starts. That's kind of my big plan with this. I do know how the plot for each of these parts, you know, pans out, because like I said, I've watched the anime for parts 1 through 5 and read the manga for the rest of the parts. So I guess I'll be kind of, you know, spotting the differences between the anime and the manga, and really just see what I like about the manga. To just see how it evolves, it's going to be a really interesting thing to see, and something that I'm looking forward to seeing. Anyways, that's the end of the video, so I'll be reading JoJo's part 2, and hopefully pretty soon I'll have a video about that. But thank you for watching, see you on the next one, and peace.